So you asked me earlier what has been my favorite things. And we talked about the Maryland Cycling Classic. We talked about this year, B360 Days. Been a lot of favorites. Going to Steve Harvey. Not traveling there, but filming Steve Harvey. But hands down, the worst moment of B360 slash the scariest, and I have two. The worst and scariest, May 2nd, 2022, Duran's accident. May 2nd is also my little brother's birthday, so I was celebrating him. I got a FaceTime from Davon. I'm like, okay, he always FaceTime me, whatever. I'm like, all right, Davon, you all right? What's going on? Because it's 8 o'clock at night. And he's like, no, we just leaving the hospital. I'm like, what you mean you at the hospital? Like what happened? And he's like, Deron got into an accident. No, he didn't, I don't even think he said accident because I don't think he had the words. He was just like Deron in the hospital. I'm like, what? I'm scared. So I dropped off my brother, he told me what hospital he was in. It took him a while to tell me what hospital he was in. Um, I'm thinking, you know, two things. Um, somebody shot him, or like it was dirt bikes. It was one of those. And I'm just like, Lord, please don't let it be nobody shot him. Right? We can dirt bike injuries are severe, but I just shooting, yeah, I was scared. On my way in there, I think I was talking to his mother, so she was telling me what was going on. It was like a light breath of air because it wasn't him being shot, but instead it was him in a coma. And so his brain injury, when I walked in, was what I learned. And I heard what she said, but it was coming in. I wasn't prepared. And this was a long year for me in general. My little brother, we were in the ICU early that year because we both got Omicron, we got COVID. But he lived with Down syndrome and like his stuff being small and wanted him having COVID pneumonia. So I was in the ICU with him for almost like 2 weeks. So like that was how I started 2022, and it was scariest moment in my life, hands down. And then this was on my brother's birthday. So walking in, seeing Deron like intubated on tubes, like it was like, of all of the people, of all of the things that happened, like, why him? And when she explained to me what happened, it was just like, this wasn't supposed to be how you start May. This wasn't supposed to be how the spring was supposed to start. Like we had just talked about a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm comforting her, I'm comforting his sister. I'm like, no, but this is Deron we talking about. Deron is a fighter, right? She told me this story. I forget what disease he had when he was born. Of like they thought he was not going to live past a certain age because of that disease. I'm like, yeah, so it's in him to be a fighter, And at the same time, I'm also struggling with the fact of like, this boy is in a coma. If he don't wake up, we're not doing B360 no more, right? Because I can't. How the person we started B360 with, Deron will tell you he's the face, right? Because he is. The reason why I went full steam ahead with B360 was because the conversation me and him had at the beginning. When I asked him what he liked to do, he said dirt bikes. If I asked him if he wanted to join the program, he said yeah. And then he went to go get Damon. He went and got Tony. He got all the kids when we first started. So in this hospital, I'm also struggling with, did I make this happen? Like I also gotta live with that too. Of we've been going hard, we've been going strong for 5 years. It's 5 years at this point. He been around before he got to me, but like we grew it bigger, and his injury is also my fault. And so I told myself that day, like, if he don't get up the next day, I'm not doing this shit no more. And I was, when I say dead serious, I was fully okay with walking away because I was like, I'm gonna invest all my time into like whatever medical support he needed, raising funds for him too. Of course, like we care about all the kids that we work with, we care about the riders, but in that moment, it was a hard decision. Like I just couldn't sit with doing B360 while Deron was in a coma, especially because no one knew how long it was going to last. And like, how could I carry this on without Deron? Um, And again, it's different if it would have been like, just a regular injury. We're talking about a brain injury, and it was very serious. Like seeing him fully covered neck, tubes, it took me to a bad place, and I was for sure, and I said it and I meant it. If he wasn't waking up, it was a wrap. Staying in the hospital, I think Deron's mother had to make me leave. Shout out to Miss Keisha. I got there probably around 8. I left like 4, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, because I really was like, no, like he is going to get up. He going to get up while I'm here, and I'm going to keep talking to her. So I finally left, and when I went home, I prayed. Right? I mean, like I'm really big on spirituality. I'm really big on God. I'm really big on. I know I'm on this earth to do a lot of stuff, and I think not just me as a person I can move mountains, but like my I don't know, my spirit can move and make change, right? I did the same thing for my brother, and I did the same thing for Dawn. So when I went home, I prayed, right? I'm not gonna give y'all all that it was, but it was really to talk to him while he was in that coma, and to tap into him, to like really ask him, did he want to stay, right? And that's a difficult thing, right? And it was really to support his decision of staying with us, even though it was going to hurt. And I don't know if he probably will never remember this, but when he got out of his coma, when we went to go visit him with my brother Charles, right? I did the same thing with Charles. Charles went and touched Duran on his head. I never told Charles he had a brain injury, right? And he was like, "You okay? You okay?" Like touching his head to be like, "Is he okay? Is he hurt?" And going back to May 2nd, before he got the coma, yeah, it was just really, like I said, I was really to walk away. Duran's mother called me the next day, and we was very, very, very happy because he woke up. Duran, you woke up, and I think everybody was shocked. Well, maybe it wasn't the next day. Maybe it was like 4 days, something like that. For me, it was the next day, right? Because this was it. And I remember being like, this boy is really Superman, right? Like, so I came back to the hospital. He already started talking from a full brain injury. And of course, like his speech wasn't perfect, but he was talking. Right. Going into the next week, he was walking. Right. I'm on IG talking to them crazy kids, and Deron, this is week 3. Deron is back on Instagram messaging us back. I'm like, who got Deron account? I had his mother like, is somebody take Deron Instagram? So I think it's just seeing too, and this is why we're still here, right? But it's seeing his hunger, seeing his fight to still want to be here in his coma, coming out of the coma, being a superhuman, teaching himself how to talk again, teaching himself how to walk again, all in less than a month time frame. You name to me a person you ever met with a brain injury who did that fast. So when we talk about not just B360, but the love that we have and family we have, is that, right? All of the kids came to visit him. He was getting letters, phone calls, messages, right? From Facebook, Instagram, letters sent to the P.O. box, people wishing him well wishes from the mayor to Chino to whomever, because so many people cared about this young man, this sick boy with these locks that's a superhuman, that you touch so many people. And for me with B360, the reason why we still going is because of you too. Because let me tell you, Deron, you definitely inspired me back in 2015, 2016, excuse me, 2016 when I first met you. But that moment on March 2nd, and then we woke up, which I think was March 6th, you reminded me why I do this. And you also reassured me that we are doing the right way. Because like I said, if you wasn't getting up, neither was we. So whenever you were thinking about, and I know you really confident, you cocky. I love it. But whenever you questioning why you supposed to do this stuff, why you supposed to be here, or like, I know God has plans for you and your parents tell you, I tell you, but you are a living example of the power, not of just like us believing in you, but when you believe in yourself, that you willed yourself to wake up out of a coma, to teach yourself how to walk, teach yourself how to talk, and you're like a superhuman, right? Like there is nothing in this world you can't do. And I know that day for you, it seemed like, I know it was difficult, but that was just the beginning of what's about to come. Because what we all said was we know that you was just getting started. So that wasn't the end for you that day. We knew it couldn't be because there's so much more you're going to do. So many people you're going to inspire. And the way that you've inspired me to make this crazy organization, now we $3 million in and looking at these spaces, right? And that was a spark that you gave me back in 2016. Then the way that you re-inspired me in 2022. So it was one of the worst experiences for B360 that I've had, that turned into an inspiration to keep going and to not care about none of the BS we go through. Because when I see you, when I see all your friends, when I see the love that you get, it reminds me of why we do this. And so I'm going to say thank you, Daron, for willing yourself to get up, but also helping us to keep going too, and reminding me why I do this, and to make sure that I keep going. And so I'm not crying today because I can't. But them days, boy, you definitely got me. And I'm more than grateful, more than proud of you. Thank you to your parents, your friends, your family. But yeah, we just getting started. You said it best, it's only up from here. And I appreciate how you allowed me to be a part of this journey with you. And I'm excited for who you're going to turn into, because you're sick at 16. We're going to have to do something with you by the time you turn 18. I don't think we can take no more, but we can. So I'm excited for what's coming.